Hey, everyone. This is Crystal Richardson, and I am here with His Royal Highness, Dr. Clyde Rivers. How are you?
Man, Dr. Crystal, I'm great today, man. I'm really great today. Thank you.
Awesome. So I would just like to welcome you and welcome everyone to this big reveal, this ceremony that we're having today. People are like, well, what is it? And some people, Dr. Rivers, were like, tell me now. I'm like, well, you have to wait till January 30th, 10 a.m. MST. And I'm just so thankful that we're able to be on today to talk about that word. If anyone who was on to see the introduction, there was a word that came across the screen. And so we're here to discuss that. But first, I want to just have you just say hello to everyone, welcome everyone, and let them know who you are.
Dr. Crystal, man, I'm just so honored to be a part of this. I'm His Royal Highness, Dr. Clyde Rivers. I'm the president and founder of I Change Nations, and I'm one of the world's leading philosophers in world civility. I'm one of the voices that have helped move that around the world, and just humbled to be here for this amazing reveal. This is off the charts, Dr. Crystal, off the charts.
I hope I'm going to be able to talk during this video recording of the ceremony. But thank you. And so, yes, you are one of, not just one of, but one of the top philosophers and brilliant minds in the world. And so there's going to be some things that we're going to be talking about what this reveal is about. But Dr. Rivers, you have changed my life in a way that I was not even expecting at the moment. And so for those who know us, you may have heard this story, but I'm just going to tell it again for those who have not seen us on together, is that God has his way of connecting people when he wants certain things to happen in this world. God has certain way of connecting people when he has something that he wants to happen. And so during COVID, at the beginning of COVID, I was like, God, what's going on? First of all, we all were, right? Back then. And I said to God, what is it that you want me to do? Not look at the news and what are the authorities going to do? What are the healthcare workers going to do? God, what do you want me to do? He put on my heart, Dr. Rivers, as you know, to have these mindset summits. And so for the mindset summit, the very first one, I got all of my female friends together, various people, various walks of life, CEOs, multimillionaires, and the like. And we had this summit with the women. The very next month, we had the one with the men, and oh my gosh, women, ladies, I'm so sorry. Like, the summit was great, but the men were off the charts. People that I didn't even know could spell God. We're talking about God and how God had moved in their lives. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is really great. So the same thing, CEOs, pastors, ministers, police officers, multimillionaire, billionaire people that I had on this summit. And one of the people that I had was Don Green. And he's the executive over the Napoleon Hill Foundation, executive director. And so there was a person who knew him, and all throughout the summit, this person was commenting, and there were all these notes. And I'm like, who is this person? And it turned out to be Professor Sam Ebube was doing that. And so I'm like, okay, I looked him up, and I'm all into music, and I love to dance. And so I looked him up, and I'm like, okay. And so there was a song on there. So I listened to the song, I'm like, oh my gosh. So, well, he knows Don Green. Let me just introduce myself to him and let him know that I love his music. And we got into like this 2-hour conversation. And during that conversation, Dr. Rivers, he said, you need to meet Dr. Rivers. All the different things that you're doing related to innovation and in the world and all these different countries you've been to, all of the global reach you have, you need to meet Dr. Rivers. I'm like, who is Dr. Rivers? I'm like, okay. So you and I met. And again, that conversation just exploded my mind. I mean, I thought that I was creative before we met 3 years ago, I think now, because I've been creating things since I was born, I think. But in elementary school, making things out of my brother's toys, he would make things out of my toys, and just we had 4 or 5 different jobs from an entrepreneur perspective, mowing lawns, cutting grass, painting houses, all of this. But the creativity part, I've always been creative and my heart was innovation. And you saw something in me during that conversation, very first conversation we had. You said, I need to appoint you as the global ambassador of innovation.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Remember that?
At 100%. And with no regrets.
And with that, there has been opportunity after opportunity after opportunity that has come my way, including what we're here to talk about today, which is the big reveal related to words and related to how we can use those words to manifest anything it is that we want in life, because God has a plan for us, but we need to step into it and jump into it. So by meeting you and having these conversations, and I've been creating words my whole life too. My husband has like been in tears reading some of my diaries from elementary school. He's like, what is this? I'm like, oh, that was just a word I made up. But you were saying that based on innovation, in order to have this philosophy in the world and to actually take over the world related to how we all have creativity inside of us, and we all can go from creativity to cash flow, is that you need to have your own word, Crystal. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, okay, so I'm sitting down and I love words. People who know me know that I love words and acronyms and whatnot. So I was like, okay, God. And so I came up with this word, that word, this word, that word, this word. And then when I came up with this word, I sent it to you, and you, what did you say?
I was knocked off my chair. I was knocked off my chair. That, man, it's such a powerful interruption. Mm-hmm. And people, when you explain what's going on, they will see exactly what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So with that, I want to just personally just thank you, not just for pouring into me, but all of the people that you pour into each and every single day. This is global for you. This is life for you. You live on all time zones like I live on. I don't know when you sleep, because I see things coming in from you all the time, and people don't know when I sleep. But God has something for all of us, all across the world. It's not just to be in our own communities, it's all across the world.
Yes.
With that being said, I want to play this video to do the big reveal, and then we'll have a little conversation after related to what's in the video. And I have something here that I want to show everybody. Is that all right?
Perfect.
All right, here we go.
Mike, there are no words. No words. Man, thank you so much. Wow.
This right here, Dr. Rivers, where is the light? This right here is because of you.
Wow.
I have helped tons and dozens of corporations and individuals get their patents, get their trademarks, get their IP, and have not had something of my own until today. And so I want to honor you with this award and read the statement to you, because this is such a pivotal day in my life. It was a pivotal day in my life when I met you, and my life and everyone's life who meets you and has an opportunity to speak to you is changed forever. So I'm going to read this statement. You, for your certificate. It says, "We take great pleasure today to honor you and thank you for using your brilliant mind, time, innovative solutions, resources, and connections to create and cultivate impact in the world. May God's favor continue to rest upon you and your shoulders as you serve him and countless innovators with your wisdom and your actions and your innovation. Because of you, His Royal Highness Dr. Rivers, 8 billion people have a chance at a better future." Thank you so much.
Wow.
And I mean that, because you are so connected that every single person that lives on this planet, all the different countries, all the different people that you're connected with I Change Nations and with you as a person, 8 billion people have an opportunity for a better future because of you.
No words, Dr. Crystal. Man, this means so much coming from you. You are one of the most excellent people that is so selfless in your service to help others. This word, this is your word.
Innovology.
Innovology will go down in history. And you've done everything that I teach people. I'm a builder of legacy, because most people want to play in the game, they don't want to create the game. Right. Dr. Richardson, you have created a whole new game. This will live so much longer than you. This will live well after you. This will be birthed in dictionaries around the world. You have taken a word, and this word is who you are. You don't have to think about this. You wake up, when you talk to you, you're just that person.
Yes.
I'm at a loss for words, but thank you so much.
I saw your face backstage.
Man.
Oh my gosh.
A trademark. That people, do you know how big that is?
Yes.
Let me tell you something about a word that you own. Words move the world. Words move the world. We need more philosophers. Dr. Richardson took it upon herself to create a word, and not just a word. She got the word patent in the U.S. trademarked. People, this words create culture. So there'll be a culture established behind this. This is like Dr. Richardson, when I first started working on Capitol Hill, I said, why is law important? They said, when a law is passed or a word's created, a culture is established. So, Dr. Richardson, for you to be the pioneer of innovology culture, that's enormous. And thank you for being a pioneer that fought through.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And there's a number of people that are already excited about this from the perspective of, I guess there's a bunch of comments on here. People are saying stuff. I don't even know what they're saying. But there are people that are already excited about it that are a part of my new book. So as you know, I'm launching the 51 Powerful P's of Public Speaking, which dovetails right into the introduction of Innovology in activating your greatness. And so there's a number of amazing people that are in the chapter of The World Speaks related to that. Because Innovology is the manifestation of creativity in motion. We have to move. We have to be doers. The Bible says we need to be doers of the word and not hearers only. A lot of people want to have the glory without doing the work. We got to do the work. And that's what when you advise, when you catalyze, ladies and gentlemen, it's not always a pleasant conversation, but you better be taking notes. I have my notebook and I have my pen every single time, just like people do with me. When they speak with me, most of them all have where they're taking notes. And why is that? Because you have something to say, and not just something to say. The words on there, moving minds, moving legacy. Dr. Rivers, that's you.
Man, that's you. Dr. Crystal, I'm blown away. I don't get blown away like this. This is, and you know why I want to thank you. Every pioneer has to have self-confidence, have to know who God is, because guess what? You'll be hit on every front.
Right.
And Dr. Richardson, I've seen you be hit on every front and you bounce back every single time, which is true leadership. And now to have your own word trademarked in the USA, may you be a pioneer, first fruit for many other people to begin to establish these things.
Amen. Amen. And one thing I want to say to people, I'm just trying to get some of these comments up here just to thank and honor people for being on. Everybody is like, oh my gosh, and seeing all different kind of stuff. Thank you all so much for your support. And Keandra, I know you were just dying. You really wanted to know yesterday what was going on. But I have something I want to say to you all after I get these last little comments up here. This is awesome.
Man.
So Dr. Rivers, a piece of advice, I already had it in my head, but sometimes we need to have a person like you to substantiate it. And then we know that it's real and it's from God. So I want to speak to all the creatives out there. I want to speak to everyone who has an idea in their head. I want to speak to everyone who has their own IP, which stands for intellectual property. I want you to listen to this, and I want you to listen to what Dr. Rivers said to me. Whenever you're going into any kind of situation where there's going to be business transactions, you need to have contracts in place. You need to have contracts in place. And I was like, yeah, Dr. Rivers, I already know that, you know. And so we were, I didn't say it like that to you. I was more polite than that, but I was like, yeah, so I was listening and I wrote it down, have contracts in place. But something you said to me substantiated what I was thinking. When I go into businesses and even and have where I'm working with people, there's my mind has where as soon as I hear what their issue or problem or desire is and what they want to create, it starts going, it starts working, and I start coming up with things related to how I can help them. And even when it's related to me, I have all of these different ideas because in my book, Activating Your Greatness, and on stages, I have said, creativity breeds creativity. So as you create, even if it's in the kitchen with a recipe or or jewelry, like I make my own jewelry, like all the different things that I do, it breeds creativity. So you start creating, you're going to create more, you're going to create more. And some of that is yours. It's not to have where you're working at a business and that person or that company has where they sign their name to what you've created. So you said to me, make sure you put in that contract that you own the IP for what you create. Make sure you put in that contract that you own the IP, or if it's jointly created, you do 50-50 or whatever the percentage may be, put that in the contract. And I was like, okay, I was thinking about that, but then I didn't know if I should or not. And when you said that, I'm like, oh, it's on, it is on. So since then, that's what I've been doing. And in any engagement that I have, they are going to know, and they do know already in the contracts, that certain things I'm coming in with things that I already own and know and have created. That will be my IP. And then other things, it will be where we'll go 50-50 or we'll go 60-40. We'll figure out what the percentage, but don't give everything away, because then they're going to go on and make money off of that thing that you created, and you will be left with nothing. And so I just want to thank you for that word of advice. And I wanted to have it be public, because people need to understand how creative they are and how they can monetize their greatness. You have to do it in the proper way, but you need to have those contracts in place. Anything you want to add to that, those words of wisdom you gave to me?
I think it's so important, because when we've been like mentored to be under people. Right. No. I partner always now. I partner because I'm bringing just as much value to the game as you are. And please, people, don't be so happy when you get a good deal that you lose your mind.
Right.
Do never lose your mind because somebody gave you something well. They didn't give you anything good. You have the value and they need you. So just understand, Dr. Crystal, I was telling someone, we've been mentored to like think at the bottom. Just, right. I'm happy to work here. No, Dr. Crystal, what any idea God gives you, you hold the patent to create it. You just have to bring that patent into the earth like actually you did and get it trademarked, because the idea of God, the currency of God, no one can steal your assignment.
Right.
But if you don't put it in alignment, they can steal your assignment.
Right. Right. If you don't put it in alignment, they can steal it, because and they will. So in activating your greatness, and the workbook that we have that we're launching next week or this weekend in Kenya for the keynote tour there, the innovation keynote tour, it has a lot of information on how to go about that. Now, I'm not a patent attorney, a trademark attorney or anything like that, but I am a wealth innovation strategist. And so the thing with me, like I said, with a lot of other people, we've been making other people rich. We've been giving other people all of what they need and not doing it for us. So I know I'm not the first person to get a trademark, but this is my trademark. And it was catalyzed by you. And wow. This philosophy, there's so many different things that we're already are starting to do, that we'll be doing related to manifesting creativity in motion. Manifesting creativity in motion is innovology. So, Dr. Rivers, I could thank you for the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours.
Man.
But universities and people of distinction are eating this up already. And so I can't wait to be the person, the mouthpiece, and then train others to be the mouthpiece in the Innovation Centers of Excellence. Those are the schools that we will be launching inside schools, Innovation Centers of Excellence, all because I was introduced to you through Don Green, through the Mindset Summits, through me asking God, what should I do about the start of COVID?
Oh my God. Dr. Richardson, may I interject one thing? When you're a pioneer, you can't listen to the settlers. When you're a pioneer, you can't listen to the settlers.
Right.
You have to be able to understand what a pioneer faces: rejection, ignorance of what you're building. You face all these things. Right. And these things crumble you. You weren't the one to bring it.
Right.
You weren't the one to bring it. So you have to understand what the life of a pioneer is. And Dr. Richardson had built something so big, and in one day it crashed, but she turned around the next day and built something else. And I'm going, see, this is when I knew, and it was a huge thing. Right. And it crashed. And the next day we talked, she's right back up, because her mission is in her. She's doing what she's designed for. That thing that happened would have crippled most people. It just emboldened you a little bit more. And look at you today.
Yes.
Look at you today. Man.
Yes. Yes. That's why at the end it says, let's go. Let's go. Oh, it's on now. I think I said that in the meeting with you. I'm like, oh, it's on now. It's on, because God didn't give me all of what he gave me just to be up under people. He didn't. And the same for each of you that are listening. He didn't give you what he gave you to be up under people. What he gave you is for you, so that you can go and move minds, so that you can go and move legacy, not just for yourself, but for other people. And so I know why I was created. And this just helps to substantiate it, and just makes me so excited. And the devil did try to take me out. I said, you know what, God, what do you want from me for COVID? And then I got COVID and double pneumonia. There were no beds in the hospital. That was when it was really crazy. Yeah. I was in the emergency room. They told my husband he couldn't even come in to visit me. They were going to admit me to the hospital. He's like, well, I just dropped her off. Can I say bye? And they said no. And the very next day, I stayed there all night. There were no beds. So they allowed him to come pick me up, and he had to nurse me back to health, along with other friends that are doctors and nurses, and potions and leaves and all different kind of things, powders that were coming to the door from all over the world. Everybody was trying to make me well again. and that was humbling. And so that was something that really crippled me at that time too. I really thought I was going to die with double pneumonia.
Wow.
COVID, really. And so I thank God for that. And then the other situation that you're talking about, during that same time frame, I mentioned this to you too, and we'll wrap it up here in just one moment. 3 times in one day, because after that, I'm like, okay, I'm having this meeting. This person wants to talk to me. I'm going to talk to them now. This part of the country, that part of the country. 3 times in one day, Dr. Rivers. I've told you this. 3 people that don't even know each other, based on the business plans and strategies that I gave them related to their business, technical and otherwise. I got called a genius 3 times in one day. 3 times in one day. Now, that's not to talk about me. That's to talk about what God put in me.
Yes.
3 times. Now, how often do people go around getting called a genius?
3 times in one day.
At once, let known 3 times.
Wow.
So I am so thankful, so grateful, and my mind is racing. I couldn't sleep. I was like all excited, and I messaged you. I'm like, okay, 1 hour. You like, I'll be there. I'm like, okay, because I didn't reveal any of this to you. You just thought you were coming for this right here.
Wow.
But I honor you and I thank you. And I'm not just saying this. 8 billion people, Dr. Rivers, have a chance at a better future because of you. Seriously.
Wow. Man, thank you so much. And Crystal, coming from you, you work with the top of the world. You are the top of the world. Thank you so much. That's humbling. Thank you, coming from you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. And so I'm going to play this commercial for us to end today. I just want to thank you once again, Dr. Rivers, for all that you do for everyone. I think sometimes, even though I know you get a lot of accolades, a lot of certificates, a lot of appreciation, but I don't think it's necessarily enough, related to that. Wow. So as I mentioned, whether it's this month, next month, or whatever, I am going to be sending you a monetary donation related to what you do and how you've blessed my life. And already know that the blessings are going to continue to flow through you. And I really mean that. May the grace of God and his favor rest on your shoulders today and always as you move minds and as you move legacy. Thank you.
Man, thank you so much. Wow. That's amazing.